Hello, everyone. I hope you all are well. Today, I thought of giving you all a view of how to make a quick judgment, a first glance of a chart, and to gather whether that person is going to experience a good life or not, or is going to be riddled with challenges. And if so, what kind of challenge, right? But obviously, to go deep down, a good astrologer has to look at dasa, bhukti, the degrees between planets, how far they are from each other, Ashtamasani. So you have things like the Gocharam that we have to see, the current transit of planets in the night sky as it is today. And we have to match that with the natives' birth chart and also the Navamsa chart. So to give a rather detailed and accurate forecast, you have to deep dive as an astrologer. But you all can briefly look at your own charts and give a estimate the effect year to year, month to month of what are the experience that you're going to have, good or bad or neutral, or you can start a business or you can change jobs, you can get married, uh, if you're pregnant or if your spouse is pregnant. Whether it's a male or a female child. Now, all of that you can gather it first glance, right? So I'm giving you the tools and tips that you can um, use rather. So I'm going to give you three charts as an example. I just generated them very randomly. So you have the first chart coming up right now, Meena Laknam, Kumbha Rasi, and I've just created this very randomly, 1st January 1990, 12 p.m. at Chennai. Very randomly created. So uh, you see the owner of the Lugnam, which is Jupiter. Meena Lugnam and Dhanusha Lugnam owner is Jupiter. Is in the fourth house. And the owner, Jupiter, has got no link to the Lugnam, but he's looking at another of its own house, Dhanusu, where you have two enemy planets, Sun and Saturn there. And Saturn in turn looks at um, the Rasi house, Kumbham. It's his own house. Saturn doesn't like the Sun. They are mortal enemies, Sun and Saturn. But unfortunately, they are in their own house of Jupiter. But Jupiter is looking at it, so it is pacifying them. The battle between them happens first, and then the pacifying action comes. So the fight has happened, and then Jupiter so-called steps in and then pacifies both of them. Um, In a way, it's good. In a way, it's bad. So let's look at the overview. House number 159, when that happens for a native, that is when growth happens, development, moving forward. 159. All the planets that is uh, linked to house 159. Here we see house number 5, we have Ketu. House number 9, we have Mars. Right, so Mars is in its own house of Vrichigam. In fact, when this native is born, again, a very randomly created chart, this native starts off with the uh, dasa of Avitam. Here it's called Danishta in Sanskrit. Um, in Tamil, it's Avitam. So Avitam is a star owned by Mars. So the first dasa is Mars. House number 9 kicks in. Now, Mars being in its own house of 9 and without any positive, without any view of a benefic planet, Venus or Jupiter. So that it is half and half, I would say, because in your Rasi, okay, we have to first see that there is no planet looking at Lugnam or it's tied to the Lugnam. But the house of Rasi Kumbham, you have Saturn looking at it. You also have Mars looking at it through its fourth drishti. Yeah, Saturn is looking at it after getting the drishti of Jupiter. All right, so house number 11 and 12, it's kind of okay. But house number 9, looking at house number 12, all right, that is a bit negative. You start with house number 9. Amongst other things, it will disrupt, when this child was born, it will disrupt the welfare of the father. It will damage the welfare of the father and then give it to this native. That means what? The father is overworking. The father has lost his job. Father is around because although Sun and Saturn, because Sun represents it's the aspect of the father. House number 9 represents father. Simmam represents the father, where moon is looking at it. It's a growing moon, but it's like kind of like a half moon, right? It's not even a Paurnami moon. Sun, Saturn, moon has the drishti of Jupiter. So the father is not going to face any major challenges in terms of health. The father is going to be around. I mean, mortally not going to be affected. I mean, there's no death of the father. There will be mental challenges, mental anguish of the father. Father is going to have sleepless nights as the child is uh, born, right? But after that, it will be Rahu. So after Avitam, where you have the first dasa of this native, Mars, then you have Rahu. Rahu is in the 11th house with Venus and Mercury. The 11th house is the owner is Saturn, 12 houses away. So it's 10 house, house number 10. Right, so whether this person is going to be in business or it's going to be in employment, this person can only do a business where this person has to be involved in the business directly. Cannot have a partnership, cannot go on a holiday and the business is running by itself. No, cannot be done. So, is that growth of this native for this person? Yes, because you have Moon and Mars, kind of like a Kendra from each other, right? Jupiter and Mars, they are friends. Jupiter, Mars, Moon, Sun, the friends, right? So you have to look at the Laknam. The Laknam is Jupiter, whether the Dasa Bhukti of the friends are happening. First, it starts with Mars, 7 years of Mars, then you have 18 years of Rahu. Right? After that is the Laknam's Dasa itself, right? And the Laknam is the Laknam Lord Jupiter. It's not in touch with the Laknam, as I said before. It's in touch with house number 10. Employment will kick in. This person is most likely in the engineering background, mechanical, right? Uh, can go up to a leadership function, but cannot run the company, cannot be in the CEO, COO function. It's going to be a head of department, head of division, but generally good. So after Jupiter, you have Saturn itself, Dasa, that's happening. 19 years of Saturn, followed by 17 years of Mercury. And then this person is almost end of life anyway. So when I say about Mercury, it's already 72, 74 years of age. And yeah, so Mercury will be generally good, although it's 8 houses away from uh, its own house of Midunam. But it's got a corner strength of Kani. So judging the chart very quickly, all you have to know very quickly, overview is where is the Laknam owner? How is the house of Rasi? And house 159, how they are, which planet is there. In house number 5, you have Ketu. Luckily, you have Ketu there and not Rahu. So luck to happen is 159. Ketu will give a luck only towards the end. If Rahu is there, to judge something, whether something is going to happen or not, whether luck is going to happen or not, Rahu can be there. He can still give you luck. But from Rahu, who is looking at Rahu? from the house of Rahu, 14710, that is the Kendra, the square. Rahu will absorb those planets sitting in 14710, will absorb their strength, their character, and do it. And if Rahu Dasa is happening, it will do that planet's strength and characteristics. So there's no one answer to astrology. In fact, what I'm saying is all the deep diving part. But as a general overview for you to judge your own chart, yes, this is a good chart. It's not one of the greatest because a good chart because Jupiter is the Lugnam owner and it's looking at one of its own houses, not the Lugnam house, house number 10, right? But it doesn't like Sun and Saturn to be in the same house of 10. They will be fighting, but it's pacifying them from a distance. And it's also looking at the Rasi house. So generally good. What's going to happen? How is this person marriage? Is this person going to have one marriage, two marriages? First one will be a success. Second one, or first one is going to end because of the death of a spouse. How are the children going to be? Whether this person is going to have a business, whether this person can do speculation, stock market, forex, all of that deep diving. We will look at that individually, chart by chart, native by native. But generally, 159, 14710, whether house the Durstana houses, Dasa Bhakti is happening 6, 8, 12. Those are the overview you can see and you can judge it. This is the uh, first chart. Let's look at the second one. Now we have the second chart coming up here. All right, so this is Midhuna Laknam, Tulam Rasi, right? And Midhunam Laknam, the owner is Mercury. Uh, Tulam Rasi owner is Venus. So you see Mercury and Sun, they are friends. So you can see, again, I just randomly generated this chart. 1st January 2000, about 10 years later from the first chart. 5 p.m. at Chennai again. So you can see that Sun is generally at the same place at the same time of the year, right? So around April, you'll have the Sun going back to Mesham, and that's when the New Year, Tamil New Year, or the Hindu calendar New Year starts around April 15, thereabouts, 14, 15. So that's New Year. So you have Sun at Mesham. But generally, 4 months before that, in January, January 1st, you have Sun at the lower left corner of Dhanusu, Sagittarius, right? But this time we have Mercury there. 10 years ago, you had Saturn there, Sunny. So Saturn takes transit, it moves houses every 2.5 to 3 years. So right now, roughly about 10 years later, you see Saturn there. But generally, you have Sun and Mercury at the lower left. Mercury is looking at its own Laknam. Laknam Lord is looking at its own house. That itself tells me it's good. Mercury has the drishti of Jupiter. Jupiter is looking again at Rasi and the Laknam owner. It's not looking at the Laknam, it's looking at the Laknam owner. But in turn, after getting the drishti, the positive drishti of Jupiter, although I saying positive drishti, but you have to see that Saturn is there with Jupiter, and then the rays, the energy of Jupiter is mixed now with Saturn. So you have the light rays coming from the planet Jupiter. Both are giants, right? Gas giants. They are the closest to each other, Jupiter and Saturn, I mean, in house number 11. Looking at Mercury, and then Mercury is looking at uh, the Laknam, Midunam. Mercury looking at its own house itself will mean that this person will study extensively through scholarship because you have the sun there, right? Sun is government. So government scholarship will be given. And what will this person study? At an overview, again, I'm talking about very generally overview. You must see whether Dasa Bhukti, the proper Dasa and Bhukti is happening. Swati Natchatram. So the first Dasa is happening is Rahu, Swati Natchatram. After that, you have Jupiter. Jupiter itself. So where Normally, I would say when this person is going to around high school, college time, Jupiter will kick in, meaning that for the Lucknow owner, Mercury sitting there in Jupiter is generally good. They are going to they are going to study the proper thing. So Mercury related stuff, IT, accounting. You have communications. You can even have Sun, Surya related things, governance, political science. Right. So this person will triumph over that. They will do well. What they study is what they're going to work as, which not many of us get that kind of opportunity. Right. But let's look at what's happening in the long run. Again, I said 159 is a Purva Punya Sthanam. 147, 10. Those are the Kendra houses. Right. So you have house number 9. Sorry, house number 5, you have the Rasi house. That means that's where the moon is. The owner of that Rasi house, Tulam, the owner is Venus, right? He's house number 6. But house number 6 for Venus is not a vanishing house per se. So it is good. Venus is looking at house number 12. So one thing I can tell you, overview, I'm just reading it as is coming overview. What I'm saying is this person physically attracted to the opposite sex. And physical intimacy is the driving force of this person's uh, marriage, right? So that means what? As long as this person has sex in the bedroom, because house number 12, where Venus is looking at it, as long as that is happening, the relationship goes on. Why am I saying that? Well, house number 7 is spouse, partnership, right? Okay, whether this person is going to have 1 or 2 marriages, very quickly, I will tell you. This person will have, again, very randomly generated chart, very random person. Let's just say this person will get physical intimacy from the spouse and will have it from outside. Will have both. Why? Because house number 2, family circle, you have Rahu there. Let's have a look. House number 11, you have Saturn there with Jupiter, but let's say Saturn is there, which is a negative planet, malefic planet, not negative, malefic. And then you have house number 12, you have Mars looking at it, Venus is looking at it as well. Mars is also looking at it through the 4th house drishti. In the Lugnam, you have Saturn looking at it. Second house from Lugnam, so house number 2, you have Rahu. House number 3, you have Mars looking at it. And through its 4th drishti, its 8th house drishti, you have Mars looking at that house as well. So that means what? House number 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, you have malefics looking at it. And then you have the drishti of Venus and Jupiter and all comes second. Malefic will do its thing first, and then only the positive effect of benefits will take over, right? For example, whether a person's mother or father or both are going to be around for the child during its younger age, during the supportive age, or they're going to get married and leave the child, but coming and supporting as and when is required, or they are dead altogether. But if they are dead, but someone else steps in as the role, as the function of a parent, mother or father, or this person is raised by grandmother, grandfather, all of that is secondary. The negative thing will happen first, and then the positive thing, the support, whether the person still has a father-like relationship with someone, mother-like relationships with someone, or the elder sister becomes the mother of a native. We know family like this, family dynamics like this. Right, anyhow, so I'm deep diving. I have to regress and come back to overview. Overview, this is very good. Rasi, Jupiter is looking. Lugnam, Lord, Mercury, Jupiter is looking. In turn, Mercury being the Lugnam Lord, looking at Lugnam itself, first house, generally good. You have Rahu in the second house, house of speech. This person will most likely say a lot of lies or stammering, stuttering. Yeah? Communication is a problem, right? regardless. This person will have a good life. This person will have a long life. Why? Because house number 8, Ketu is there. Saturn is looking at house number 8 after getting the positive energies of Jupiter, is looking at house number 88. Saturn is also looking at house number, looking at the Rasi. Jupiter is looking, meaning that Saturn has to look at Rasi, right? Looking at Tulam. Saturn in this house of Mesham, he debilitates. And most likely he's in retrograde because 5 houses away from the sun. This is negative for Saturn. But Jupiter sitting there is okay. Saturn must, if it's debilitated, is good. And but it is debilitated and then it's in retrograde. That is bad. So everything comes with if else. Combination is everything in astrology, right? That's why when I read YouTube comments, people say, I have this planet in this house. How will my dasa be for that planet? I cannot give you an answer. I need to see who is in the Kendra, who is mixed with it in the same house, who is looking at it, how is the Lucknam is, how is the Rasi is. So that's a deep dive question. But overview 159, 14710, Rasi house, Rasi owner, Lucknam owner, if they are okay and they are 14710 from them, they have the friends of that planet, friends or enemies. 6812, you have to look at this. Okay, quickly we can judge. Yes, this person is going to have a good life, average life, or below average, or going to be challenged throughout their lives. We can tell very quickly. So that is the second chart. Now let's look at the third and final chart that I created very randomly. This is, I just wanted to change it a bit, so I put a chart for 1st of December 2015. Again at Chennai, but this time I put 5 a.m. because I wanted to change the placement of the Lucknow right next to the sun. I didn't want to put January because then sun will be back in the same place of Dhanusu. Here I say the Lucknow Lord itself, Venus, it's in Tulam. Tulam Lucknow, Lucknow Lord itself is there. But let's look at house number 12, right? 6, 12, you have Mars and Rahu Ketu there. House number 12, Mars and Rahu. Uh, Parivartane with Mercury, because Mercury, Sun, Saturn, again, Sun, Saturn, Mercury. Sun, Saturn is in one place means they destroy. They will be forever in Yuddham. Yuddham means battle, war. Sun, Saturn, mortal enemies. The collateral damage is done to Mercury, right? So you have Mercury there, 12th house owner, completely destroyed. Then you have Jupiter here. So one other thing that I find that this chart is very useful is that Jupiter is in house number 11, but Jupiter is not looking at any other planets, right? He's looking at house number 5, house number 7, house 3, 5, 7. No planets are there, but Jupiter is in house number 11, house of Labam, right? Also, house of elder siblings. So does this person have a younger sibling? No, not necessarily. Mars from the 12th house, very negative in the 12th house, looking at the third house. Third house is younger sibling. This person is the youngest in the family. They've got eldest sibling. This person is going to be what? Because of the Lucknam owner in the Lucknam, this person is going to be the spoiled brat of the family, if I can put it that way. This person is going to have the love and affection of everyone, mother, father, siblings. This person can do anything and get away with it. This person cannot do no wrong to the eyes of the parents and siblings. This person is the greatest in the family. Anyhow, Moon, we have Kadagam with Ilium, right? So Ilium, the owner is the Nakshatra owner is Mercury. So this person starts off with the dasa of Mercury. After that, you have Ketu, sixth house. And then you have 20 years of the Lugnam Lord, Venus, Shukra, 20 years. So roughly that happens at the youngling stage, youngster stage of this person's life, roughly around 18, 19 years old, 20 years. So let's say 20 years old, this person starts with Shukra. 20 years drags up to 40 years of Shukra. Whether that's good or not, no, this person definitely get married, has a lot of girlfriends, girlfriend, boyfriend, right? This person is good looking. Venus in the Lugnam, Chandra, Kendra. So that means Chandran is the moon is 14710 from the Lugnam. Generally, this person is good looking, right? This person will, their driving force, what is going to drive this person at the early adult stages is going to be all about looks. I need to look good. I need to attract people. I need to get involved with intimacy, romance, and all. That's my life goal, right? Is this person going to be a success in life? Well, we have say 1-5 again, 159, Purva Punyasthana. House number 5, well, you have Jupiter looking at it. House number 9, you don't have anyone looking at it. House number 9, the house of Midhunam. Owner is Mercury. Mercury is in turn 6 houses away from there. That one, house number 9 strength is being lost. Remember, house number 9 is also luck, also father. And in this instance, Sun and Saturn is in the Sun is a significator of as a planetary significator of father. House number 9 is the aspect, planetary Bhava aspect of father. Owner is lost 6 houses away. This father is not the father per se of this native. Did the mother marry again? Most likely yes, because mother is very strong in the own house. Owner of mother, the moon, it's in the house of Kadagam, right? In their own house. Whether father is getting married or not, mother definitely got married again. This person has a father-like figure, but it's not exactly helpful to the person. Although Jupiter is there in the house of Simham. So everything again, if else statements, right? If this has happened, let's look at something else. Three things we have to look at, right? The Bhavam, the Bhavaga owner, and the aspect, the significator of that. Ninth house owner, Surya, for father, I'm talking about. Ninth house, there is no planet looking at it per se. The ninth house owner is missing in the second house. The sun is there with Saturn, right? Sun is just one house away from its lowest point, from its Nicham, right? Saturn is one house away from Ucham, from the point where it is highest. So that's the second house. This person and second house, what do we know about that? Communication, income capability, family life, right? Or the formation of a family life, all devastated, all broken. This person is going to be a playboy. It he or she, okay, I'm not saying this is a male or a female per se, but whatever it is, because of the dynamics of this person's parental, right? So the early life that this person has as a role model, they, because of the broken nature of their own parents' family life, they believe this is how family life should operate, right? But generally, this person will be okay in terms of uh, getting a job, keeping a job, right? Is comes and goes. Income capability will be fidgety. That means this person will always have a job in the sense of being a consultant, ad hoc job. It's not a permanent job. Why is that? Second house owner, right? Second and seventh house owner is house number 12 with Rahu. He doesn't like that, which is Mars, right? Doesn't like that. Mars is looking at house number 6. Very devastated, very challenged, and they're looking at house number 6 where Ketu is. Right. This person will get a spouse who is of higher ranking, higher than themselves, and will survive because of the spouse's influence, spouse's contribution. Will this person get married again? Most likely, yes. House number 11 is where Jupiter is. House number 7, first marriage. Venus is looking at it. All right. And then stronger than Venus, Jupiter is there in House of Simham. Jupiter likes that house. But the second marriage will end up in failure anyway, but the person won't leave the second marriage. The person will leave the first marriage, not the second marriage. Why is the second marriage going to fail? Is because Sun, owner of Suryan, is in a negative place, in a bad place, cannot give the strength to its own house, right? Well, children, yes, there will be children because house number 5 is Kumbham, right? And you have Jupiter looking at it. Significator of children is Jupiter. Jupiter's looking at it after being in a house where it is uh, where the strength has faded. That is good. If the strength of that house is too great, right? Suryan, maybe it is Ucham in Mesha Rasi, for example. Jupiter will have too much strength. And if it looks at house number 5, all okay, if else, if else. House number 5 is Kumbham, owner is Saturn, not its own house, not Dhanusu or Meenam. If Dhanusu or Meenam happens to be Jupiter's the fifth house of this native, Jupiter is looking at it. The significator looking at the fifth house, right? Although it's not there, sitting a planet sitting in a fifth house and a benefic planet like Jupiter, it's different from drishti of the fifth house. So you have something called Karago Bhavanasti, that's a whole different topic. But again, as an overview, 159, house 159, house number 1 and 5, you have two benefic planets linking to it. That's good enough, right? Whatever this person wants in the proper dasa and bhukti, in the beneficial dasa and bhukti, this person will get. And again, what I said at the start of this third house, third chart is relationship, not exactly sex, relationship, because house number 12 needs to be strong for physical intimacy. This person will think that marriage, getting married, staying married is my goal. And a lot of chances of that happening. So 1-5 is going to kick in. Generally good. Whatever this person wants at the right dasa and bhukti, the dasa and bhukti that will push this person forward, this person will get. Whether what they want and what they get is going to help them, it's good for them, that's a whole different story. It may not be good for them, but what they want, they will get. So I guess this is what I wanted to tell as an overview with 3 different charts, right? And also we have to look at the Gocharam. When when Ashtama Sani, Janma Sani, Sade Sati is happening, the spouse or anyone in the family, especially father and mother, they are running Ashtama Sani, Janma Sani, all that will kick into place. But combinations of anything, of planets, 147, 10, Kendra, 159, Kona, right? Gocharam. All of that, we have to look at it and then tell this person is going to be in the police force, whether the person is going to be IG in the police force or a constable in the police force, whether the person is going to be throughout in the police force or come out and do something else, go into private security, for example, become a bodyguard of a prominent politician, for example. All that is possibilities, right? Mm. All of those can happen. It's happening. So astrology should be able to pinpoint that. that requires in-depth study of everyone's chart, every native's chart. So if you want me to look at a chart again, please drop your details in the comments. Please send me an personal email if you don't want it to be known, if you want it to be private. If you want to just say hi and reach out, do that as well. Like, subscribe. And yeah, so I hope you all stay safe and I hope you all gain success in your life. God bless you all. Thank you.